What is up, YouTube? What is up, family? We have another Patreon request. We got why Austria isn't part of Germany. You know, that's a question I've always asked myself for like forever. So it's amazing that this video is literally going to finally explain to me that crazy question I've always had in my head. Isn't that amazing? All right, anyway, I'm finally going to get my answer resolved. This is a beautiful thing. Let's go. Let's hit play. Who's that guy that's blurry? He looks...
Servus and welcome to Vienna.
Okay. Well, let's give him a shot.
The capital and largest city of the Republic of Austria, Germany's Canada. No, but seriously, Vienna is such a beautiful city and one that has been so important to Central European history for so long that I may or may not use some of the stock footage I shot here for later videos. I mean, that wouldn't be the first time I did that. But we're not here to talk about the city of Vienna, we're here to talk about the country of Austria, and specifically how it relates to its big brother Germany. Germany and Austria have more or less a similar culture and speak the same language. Kind of. So why, I ask as all the hate commenters start pouring out on this video, are Germany and Austria separate countries in the first place?
This is of course not an easy question to answer, but part of the answer actually has more to do with why places like Bavaria or Baden or Lower Saxony even are part of Germany. You see, while the idea of there being a German-speaking country near the center of Europe called Germany is something I'd imagine most of us are pretty used to by now, this hasn't always been the case. Germany was first unified as one singular state back in 1871 by Otto von Bismarck. Before that though, Germany was split up into dozens of small kingdoms, some merely the size of city-states and some the size of small kingdoms. For over 1,000 years prior to German unification, the dominating order over all these small states was something called the Holy Roman Empire. Now, history YouTubers all like to point out how the Holy Roman Empire was not holy, Roman, nor an empire, but for our intents and purposes, it definitely wasn't an empire. It was more of a political union between all these small, kind of sort of nominally independent states, all at least bowing down to the authority of the emperor, who always lived off somewhere within the empire. It changed a lot though. Now, because of the crazy whack politics of the HRE, there were numerous different powers all vying for greater influence within the Union. One sort of example could be the Hanseatic League, but by the 18th century, there were two dominating powers within the Union: Brandenburg-Prussia in the north and Austria in the south. Now, I think you can already see where this is going, but of course I'm going to just take the long way around just so we can make this into a video. Austria's House of Habsburg, known today as the main reason why incest is indeed a bad thing, had already held control over the crown of the HRE for around 300 years before these times, but now Prussia started to emerge onto the scene as a new power. Now, Prussia and Austria actually both like the idea of a united German-speaking state.
Did he say Prussia? What the hell was Prussia?
Now, Prussia and Austria
Prussia?
actually both like the idea of a united German-speaking state, but the disagreement here, as would start to repeat itself again and again in world history, was over who would control it. So guys, which city do you think should be the capital of a united German state? Berlin, they both said at the same time. So that's kind of where all the drama starts, as if it hasn't already. However, the Holy Roman Empire was not much longer for this world, as Napoleon conquered the area and dismantled the old Union in 1806, re-establishing most of the old states, aside from Prussia and Austria, as the Confederation of the Rhine. This new confederation was in turn quickly dissolved after a Prussian victory against France when they established the German Confederation, which encompassed all the old territories of the Holy Roman Empire, including Prussia and Austria, but not including the territories that they held that weren't previously part of the HRE. This meant that there were effectively parts of Prussia and Austria that weren't part of this confederation. Yeah, history is weird sometimes. As a kind of a loose analogy, that would be kind of like if part of Denmark weren't even in the European Union. Oh, right. The area was then again pushed to a boiling point with the Austro-Prussian War of 1866, which resulted in a decisive Prussian victory and the establishment of the North German Confederation. Then, once Bavaria, Baden, and Württemberg were incorporated after a Prussian victory against France, Otto von Bismarck proclaimed the German Empire, the second one, in 1871, crowning King Wilhelm I as Kaiser Wilhelm I. But alas, Austria was not to be a part of this new nation. But before the German Confederation fell, indeed right after it first formed, there was one question that needed to be answered about all this. Will it blend? But also, should Austria be a part of this new Greater Germany? Well, for that, there were two solutions. The Greater German solution or the smaller German solution, die Groß- oder Kleindeutsche Lösung, which basically put out what Germany would look like either with or without Austria, thus preparing for either a small Germany or a thick Germany. I'm so sorry, I'm never saying that again. Austria, however, had one big thorn in its side if it did want to be a part of Germany. Germany was united through a common language and culture. What I mean by that is basically everyone in Germany was a German-speaking German. Austria, however, was very much not. Although this was true with core Austria, this was absolutely not true with the rest of their empire, which was itself made up of Hungarians, Serbs, Croats, Poles, Czechs, Romanians, etc. This can be seen as we start to look at what happened after all this took place, as the Austrian Empire became the Empire of Austria-Hungary, which itself wasn't too long for this world in the age of nationalism. After the end of World War I, Austria-Hungary broke, and now Austria was just this little turkey leg up in the Alps. Then a guy with a bad mustache and an even worse agenda, who happened to be from Austria, wanted to unify all the German-speaking lands and so merged Austria and Germany for the course of World War II, until his side lost the war and Germany and Austria were split up amongst the Allied powers. During this time, however, not only were there suddenly two Germanys and an Austria, but the Allied powers also declared that Germany and Austria would never be allowed to unify. Although I should probably point out that this was also admittedly specified in the Treaty of Versailles after World War I, but still. In addition, basically the only way Austria was able to keep itself from being split apart like Germany was by declaring neutrality in the Cold War, which the two Germanys definitely didn't really get the chance to do. Of course, Austria and Germany today aren't exactly in a rush to form a union between themselves. But yeah, basically Austria didn't join at first because they were kind of off doing their own thing, and then Crazy Mustache Man happened, and then the Allies forbid the two countries from unifying. Assuming they even wanted to at all. Besides, as both countries are members of the EU, Eurozone, and Schengen area, what exactly would be the point of that today?
That's kind of what I've been kind of thinking that, like, why? Why bother? Why?
Now, as for why Australia isn't part of Germany, well, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please
Australia, I got you.
Please consider liking it and sharing it, and maybe even supporting the
I thought it was just because Austria didn't like beer. Maybe that was the problem.
channel on Patreon.
Just so y'all know, I followed everything perfectly. Everything I followed, never got lost, never got confused. I understood it all 1,000%. Seriously, I get it. I totally get it. And now, finally, the question in my head has been resolved. Now, I still don't get it. And I'll probably never get it. I'll never get it. Back in these days, every other day was just another war. Another king wanting to take over land, wanting to become bigger, more powerful, and emperors and knights. And we've watched a few, historian type videos, and it's just incredible the amount of fighting and killing, and all to say, all right, well, this is mine now. This is my land. And then, oh no, somebody else just comes by. No, we want their land. And here you go again. Another 3-4 years of fighting. Yeah. So anyway, coming back to this one, why Austria isn't part of Germany? Well, because that's why. Obviously, you heard what he said. That's why. Clear as day. Never got confused once, folks. Not once. Anyway, yeah, that was that. Interesting. It's amazing, though. Do you think maybe, you ever wonder, well, with global, with the climate doing what it's doing, I guess I can answer my own question, but you ever think, like, I don't know, let's just say this planet's still here 1,000 years from now. 1,000 years from now, if you looked at a map, do you think it would still look the same? Do you think I would be where I am, and France would be where France is, Germany where Germany, Italy, you know what I mean? Do you think, because, back in these days, everything was changing. Like, if you didn't have, like, it's like, oh, what kind of map are you looking at? Oh, man, that's last week's map. Here's the new map. This is this week's map. This is where France is. Yeah, it's over here. Oh, no, Greece is over here. You know what I mean? So I'm just thinking, like, 1,000 years from now, geez, other than half the world being underwater, could it be that's like, well, Russia's not there no more? How about that? Well, look at that. China's not there no more. China's there. What the hell? United States is. Where'd Canada go? You know what I mean? Like, you ever think of that? I don't know. Because when you look at videos like this, you realize the amount of change in the world map was incredible back, 1400s, 1500s, 1600s. It was changing like I said, like every other week. You need an upgrade on your internet. You had to upgrade your map. Like in the 1400s, it was slow, but they had internet. It was very slow internet. Anyway, why Austria isn't part of Germany? That's why. Take care. Peace out. Have a good night.